Something extraordinary is happening right now, and you finding this video is no accident. Picture yourself standing at the intersection of infinite timelines, where every possible version of your future exists simultaneously. The quantum field has been shifting, reorganizing itself around new possibilities, and the fact that you're here means you're already caught in the gravitational pull of your breakthrough. But there's something most people don't understand about these cosmic moments of alignment. Does this feel familiar? That electric sensation of being on the verge of something monumental, yet simultaneously questioning whether you're truly prepared for what's coming. You've been living in the space between who you were and who you're becoming, and the universe has been conspiring to bring you to this exact moment. Here's what changes everything. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you align with. Perhaps you've been circling around the same patterns, watching opportunities slip through your fingers like water, wondering when your moment will finally arrive. You've planted seeds, taken action, even failed spectacularly. And now you're standing at the crossroads wondering if the path forward is worth the energy. But let me share something that will shift everything. You're not behind schedule. You're perfectly positioned. What you're about to experience in these next moments isn't just information transfer. This is a frequency transmission, a recalibration of your relationship with reality itself. If you're sensing that everything is about to change, then stay present because this frequency is calling your name. The architecture of your inner world. Before we explore techniques, systems, or strategies, we must examine the foundation that determines whether you build castles or prisons. The architecture of your consciousness. The patterns of thought you've inherited, the emotional frequencies you broadcast, and the unconscious programs running in the background have been constructing your experience moment by moment. When you're ready to transform your external reality, the renovation begins from within. This is the invisible infrastructure of all manifestation. As you observe the world around you, you witness others effortlessly flowing into their desires, creating businesses that seem to grow organically, or stepping into relationships that feel divinely orchestrated. What distinguishes them isn't superior genetics, fortunate circumstances, or access to hidden knowledge. It's their internal frequency. They've learned to think in harmonious patterns that magnetize their reality toward them, even when external conditions appear chaotic. The beautiful truth is this: you can tune into that same frequency. The foundation of this transformation lies in understanding the quantum nature of conviction. You must embody the knowing that your desires are not distant dreams, but present moment possibilities waiting for your energetic alignment. It's effortless to convince yourself that certain experiences belong to other people, that you lack the necessary qualifications, or that the bridge between here and there is too complex to cross. But here's the frequency that changes everything. Without embodied knowing, nothing materializes. You cannot vibrate in fear of your own expansion. You cannot radiate doubt about what wants to emerge through you. The knowing that success is not reserved for others, but is your natural birthright, is the quantum leap that transforms everything. What does this embodied knowing feel like in your nervous system? It's not merely repeating affirmations while your body contracts in disbelief. It's becoming intimate with how you commune with yourself in each sacred moment. When you whisper to yourself that transformation is impossible, your reality mirrors that frequency. When you consistently question your worthiness, you'll discover that uncertainty reflected in every interaction and outcome. But when you replace those contracted stories with expansive truths, frequencies like "I am learning," "I am growing," or "I trust the process," you begin to perceive reality through new eyes. This is an energetic recalibration that unlocks dimensions, opportunities, and synchronicities you never imagined possible, transmuting the frequency of resistance. The second layer of this consciousness shift involves transforming your relationship with resistance. Resistance to failure, resistance to judgment, resistance to the unknown territories your soul wants to explore. This resistance is part of the human experience, woven into our survival programming. Fear serves as a guardian, designed to keep us safe within familiar boundaries. But the challenge arises when this protective mechanism becomes a prison, preventing us from expanding beyond our current reality. The fear of failure operates as one of the most powerful electromagnetic fields, keeping souls trapped in limitation. But here's the frequency that liberates. Failure is not a final destination. It's simply feedback from the quantum field. Every master of manifestation has experienced what appears to be setbacks, whether they stumbled during their initial attempts or encountered multiple redirections along their journey. The distinction is that they refuse to let temporary outcomes define their essential nature. They refuse to allow external circumstances to collapse their internal knowing. Instead, they extracted wisdom from the experience, recalibrated their approach, and continued flowing toward their vision. You possess this same quantum capacity. Transform your perception of setbacks. See them as course corrections, not cosmic rejections. When you dissolve the fear of temporary failure, you liberate yourself to take inspired action, embrace experimentation, and expand through experience. Another essential frequency for magnetizing success is cultivated attention. In a reality saturated with energetic distractions, it's easy to lose coherence. You begin with a clear vision pulsing in your heart, but along the journey, you discover your consciousness scattered across countless directions. The challenge isn't a lack of inspiration or opportunities. The challenge is that your attention has become fragmented and your life force energy diluted across too many frequencies. Cultivated attention is the ability to direct your consciousness toward what truly matters, to filter out the noise of the collective programming, and to persistently align with what your soul is calling forth. The difference between someone who materializes their vision and someone who remains perpetually seeking is often simply the capacity to maintain coherence when reality tests their commitment. When challenges emerge, and they will, it's natural to lose sight of your vision, to become overwhelmed by external chaos, or to surrender to the gravitational pull of old patterns. But if you can train yourself to return to presence, to remember what you're creating, you exponentially increase your manifestation potential. Cultivated attention isn't about forcing yourself into rigid discipline. It's about becoming intelligent with your energy. It's about investing your consciousness in the frequencies that will create the greatest transformation and learning to say no to everything that diminishes your coherence. When you master this practice of conscious attention, you begin to discover that focus itself becomes a form of meditation, a way of communing with the intelligence that orchestrates all creation. A fundamental aspect of shifting your internal frequency involves embracing appreciation. Initially, this might seem paradoxical. How does appreciation accelerate manifestation? Doesn't success require relentless drive and ambition? Indeed, but it also requires energetic balance. Appreciation is a quantum tool that allows you to remain grounded in the creative process, even when external circumstances don't match your internal vision. When you focus on what generates appreciation in your experience, you redirect your attention away from perceived lack and begin to recognize the abundance already surrounding you. Appreciation helps you maintain an elevated frequency, even when facing apparent obstacles. When you cultivate thankfulness for what's already present, you begin to embody a consciousness of abundance rather than scarcity. This perceptual shift opens your awareness to fresh opportunities, unexpected connections, and innovative solutions that you would have overlooked if you were fixated on what seemed to be missing. Appreciation doesn't just improve your emotional state, it recalibrates your entire energetic signature and draws more experiences that match that elevated frequency. One of the most crucial frequencies for sustained success is developing anti-fragility. Life will not unfold according to your mental blueprints. There will be unexpected plot twists, mysterious detours, and challenges that seem to emerge from nowhere. But what distinguishes those who thrive from those who abandon their dreams is the capacity to become stronger through adversity. Anti-fragility is the ability to absorb impact, extract wisdom from the experience, and continue expanding toward your vision. It's about perceiving challenges as invitations for growth, rather than evidence of cosmic opposition. Anti-fragility doesn't mean never experiencing moments of doubt or discouragement. It means feeling those frequencies, but choosing to rise anyway. It means witnessing a setback and declaring, "This experience is revealing something important, but my vision remains unchanged." It means trusting your capacity to adapt, pivot, and transcend, regardless of how many times external circumstances test your resolve. When you cultivate anti-fragility, you begin to perceive every obstacle as an opportunity to strengthen your manifestation muscles, deepen your wisdom, and move closer to your authentic expression. The final frequency of a success-oriented consciousness is sacred patience. Manifestation doesn't operate according to linear time. It's natural to desire immediate evidence, especially in a culture that worships instant gratification. But lasting transformation requires sacred patience. It requires consistency. It requires understanding that the journey of becoming is just as valuable as the destination. When you practice sacred patience with yourself, you create space for organic growth. You understand that learning, evolving, and materializing your visions is a process that cannot be rushed, and that's perfectly designed. The most profound manifestations require time to root deeply, and if you're too focused on forcing rapid results, you miss the invaluable wisdom that comes with each phase of the journey. Sacred patience doesn't mean passive waiting. It means trusting the intelligence of the process, showing up with consistency, and allowing your manifestations to emerge naturally as a result of your sustained alignment and inspired action. The quantum field of visualization and attraction. Visualization and the law of attraction are two quantum technologies that can completely restructure how you experience reality and call forth your desires. It's tempting to dismiss these concepts as abstract mysticism or wishful thinking, but the truth is, they're rooted in fundamental principles of quantum mechanics and the way consciousness interfaces with the holographic field of possibilities. Visualization is the practice of creating vivid, multi-sensory experiences in your consciousness of what you intend to manifest. It's like becoming the director of your inner reality movie, using your imagination as the most sophisticated technology for programming your future. The more detailed and embodied this inner vision becomes, the more powerful it becomes as a magnetic force for attracting corresponding experiences. But here's what most people get wrong about visualization. They think it's about imagining some distant future, while their present moment remains unchanged. True quantum visualization is about collapsing the time-space between your current reality and your intended reality. When you visualize with quantum awareness, you're not imagining something that might happen someday. You're accessing the frequency of that reality that already exists in the infinite field of possibilities. You're learning to feel yourself into that timeline, to embody the version of yourself who is already living that experience. The neuroscience behind this is profound. When you engage in conscious visualization, you are literally rehearsing the reality you intend to experience. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish much between a vividly imagined experience and a physical event. So when you spend time visualizing success, whether that's stepping into your ideal career, manifesting abundance, or experiencing vibrant health, your brain begins to organize itself around this new reality. It creates neural networks that support this vision, and over time, it influences your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in ways that align with your intended manifestation. But let's go deeper into the quantum mechanics of this process. When you visualize with emotional intensity, you're not just creating mental pictures. You're generating electromagnetic fields that interact with the zero-point field, the quantum vacuum that contains infinite potential. Every thought carries a vibrational signature, and when you combine clear intention with elevated emotion, you create a powerful electromagnetic signal that begins to organize energy and matter around your vision. The law of attraction operates on the principle that consciousness attracts experiences that match its dominant frequency. In quantum terms, the energy you broadcast into the morphic field, through your thoughts, emotions, and actions, magnetizes similar frequencies back toward you. If you consistently focus on expansion, abundance, and joy, the universe responds by bringing more experiences that match those frequencies. If you habitually focus on limitation, fear, or lack, you will magnetize more experiences that mirror those contractions. Understanding the mechanics of energetic coherence. Here's where the science becomes mystical, and the mystical becomes practical. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that is 60 times stronger than your brain's field. When your heart and brain are in coherent rhythm, when your thoughts align with your feelings, you create what scientists call heart-brain coherence. This coherent state amplifies your ability to influence the quantum field around you. Most people live in a state of energetic incoherence. Their thoughts pull them in one direction, while their emotions pull them in another. They think about abundance while feeling scarcity. They visualize success while their body holds patterns of failure. This internal contradiction creates energetic static that interferes with their manifestation signal. But when you achieve coherence, when your thoughts, emotions, and body are all aligned around the same vision, you become like a tuning fork resonating at the frequency of your intended reality. This coherent signal cuts through the noise of the collective consciousness and begins to organize synchronicities, opportunities, and circumstances that match your internal frequency. The practice of coherent visualization involves more than mental imagery. It requires you to feel yourself into the reality you're creating. What would it feel like in your body to be living your desired life? How would you breathe? How would you move through space? What emotions would be your natural state? When you can embody these feelings before the external circumstances change, you create the internal conditions necessary for manifestation. The holographic principle and reality creation. Quantum physics has revealed something extraordinary about the nature of reality. Every part contains information about the whole. This is called the holographic principle, and it explains how consciousness can influence reality at a distance. When you change your internal frequency, you're not just changing yourself. You're changing the holographic pattern that you're connected to throughout the entire universe. This is why your personal transformation ripples out to affect your relationships, your career, your health, and every aspect of your experience. You're not separate from the reality you're observing. You're an active participant in its creation. When you shift your consciousness, you shift the holographic template that reality uses to organize itself around you. Understanding this principle changes everything about how you approach manifestation. You stop trying to force external circumstances to change and instead focus on becoming the frequency of what you want to experience. You stop pushing against what you don't want and start pulling yourself toward what you do want by becoming an energetic match for it. The quantum observer effect and conscious choice. In quantum mechanics, the observer effect demonstrates that the act of observation changes the behavior of quantum particles. Particles exist in a state of infinite potential until they're observed, at which point they collapse into a specific state. This principle applies to your life in profound ways. Every moment, you're observing your reality into existence. The quality of your attention, the frequency of your consciousness, and the beliefs you hold are all acting as quantum observers, collapsing infinite potential into specific experiences. When you become conscious of this process, you can begin to observe your life with intention rather than unconscious habit. Most people observe their reality from the frequency of their past. They look for evidence of what they've already experienced, and they find it. They expect tomorrow to look like yesterday, and it does. But when you learn to observe from the frequency of your intended future, you begin to collapse new possibilities into form. This requires a fundamental shift in how you use your attention. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, or what's not working, you begin to look for evidence of what's emerging. You train yourself to notice the subtle signs that your reality is shifting. You become sensitive to synchronicities, opportunities, and unexpected openings that are calling you forward. The morphic field and collective consciousness. Your personal transformation doesn't happen in isolation. You're connected to what biologist Rupert Sheldrake calls the morphic field, a field of information that connects all living systems. When you make a quantum leap in consciousness, you're not just changing your personal reality. You're contributing to the evolution of human consciousness itself. This is why your breakthrough matters beyond your personal desires. Every time you choose love over fear, expansion over contraction, or trust over doubt, you make it easier for others to make the same choice. You're strengthening the morphic field patterns that support conscious evolution. The more people who awaken to their creative power, the stronger these patterns become in the collective field. This is why we're witnessing an unprecedented acceleration in human consciousness. The tipping point is approaching where awakened consciousness becomes the dominant pattern in the human morphic field. Sacred activism and embodied transformation. Your spiritual evolution is not separate from the transformation of the world. As you heal the patterns of separation, scarcity, and fear within yourself, you're healing those patterns in the collective unconscious. As you embody the frequencies of love, abundance, and unity, you're anchoring those frequencies in the planetary field. This is sacred activism, transformation that begins within and radiates outward to heal the world. You don't need to save anyone or fix anything external. You just need to become the embodiment of what you want to see in the world. Your presence becomes your contribution. Your consciousness becomes your service. When you step into your authentic power, you give others permission to do the same. When you stop playing small, you help dissolve the collective pattern of limitation. When you stop waiting for permission to be brilliant, you help others remember their own brilliance. The art of quantum timing and divine orchestration. There's a sacred intelligence orchestrating the timing of your manifestations. The universe operates on perfect timing, even when it doesn't align with your mental preferences. Learning to trust divine timing is one of the most challenging and essential aspects of conscious creation. Sometimes what appears to be delay is actually divine protection. The universe might be arranging circumstances behind the scenes, aligning the right people and opportunities, or helping you develop the internal capacity to handle your manifestation. Other times, what seems like a setback is actually a redirection towards something even better than what you originally envisioned. The art is learning to stay in creative flow regardless of external timing. This means maintaining your vision while releasing attachment to how and when it manifests. It means staying open to the possibility that the universe has a plan even more magnificent than your own. Now, what we've been exploring about visualization and quantum field interaction is really just the beginning of understanding how consciousness operates as a broadcasting system. If you're feeling the resonance of these principles and want to dive into the complete framework, the 9 master frequencies that transform you from seeking to being, from manifestation to embodiment, I've poured everything into my comprehensive guide, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. It contains layers upon layers of understanding about breaking free from survival static. working with the courage transmission, and ultimately learning to live as the field itself rather than separate from it. It's linked in the pinned comment below. When you align with divine timing, you stop forcing and start flowing. You stop pushing against closed doors and start noticing the doors that are opening. You develop a sensitivity to the natural rhythms of creation and learn to move with them rather than against them. The quantum leap and threshold experiences. Your transformation won't happen gradually. It will happen in quantum leaps, sudden shifts in consciousness that reorganize your entire reality almost instantaneously. These threshold experiences often feel disorienting because your external circumstances haven't caught up with your internal shift yet. During these quantum leaps, you might feel like you're living between worlds, no longer the person you were, but not yet fully embodying who you're becoming. This liminal space can feel uncomfortable, but it's where the magic happens. It's where old patterns dissolve and new possibilities crystallize. The key is learning to stay present during these threshold experiences instead of trying to rush through them or retreat back to familiar territory. These transitions are sacred passages that are initiating you into higher levels of consciousness and creative power. When you honor these quantum leap moments and trust the process of transformation, you begin to move through them with greater ease and grace. You learn to see them as signs that you're evolving, rather than evidence that something is wrong. This is where everything changes. Take a moment and comment below with this phrase: I am the conscious creator of my reality. This isn't just a statement, it's an energetic declaration, a signal to the quantum field that you're stepping into a new level of responsibility for your experience. Let this phrase pulse through your consciousness as a reminder of your true nature. But let's go even deeper into what this declaration actually means. When you declare yourself as the conscious creator of your reality, you're not claiming responsibility for everything that has happened to you. You're claiming responsibility for how you choose to respond to everything that happens to you. You're recognizing that your inner state is the creative force that shapes your outer experience. This shift from victim consciousness to creator consciousness is the most powerful transformation you can make. Victim consciousness asks, "Why is this happening to me?" Creator consciousness asks, "What is this teaching me? And how can I use this experience to become who I'm meant to be?" When you embody creator consciousness, you stop giving your power away to external circumstances. You stop waiting for the world to change so you can feel better. You take full responsibility for your energetic frequency and understand that this internal frequency is what calls forth your external experiences. Take a moment to reflect. What old pattern or limiting belief are you ready to release to step fully into your creator consciousness? Share your breakthrough moment in the comments below. The alchemy of emotional mastery and frequency regulation. Your emotions are not just feelings, they're creative forces. Each emotion carries a specific electromagnetic signature that interacts with the quantum field. When you master your emotional frequency, you master your manifestation ability. Most people are slaves to their emotional reactions. Something happens, and they automatically respond with the same emotional patterns they've been carrying for years. These unconscious emotional reactions keep them locked in repetitive cycles of experience. But when you develop emotional mastery, you gain the ability to consciously choose your emotional frequency, regardless of external circumstances. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending to feel differently than you do. It means developing the capacity to feel your emotions fully while not being controlled by them. It means learning to transform lower frequency emotions into higher frequency states through conscious choice and spiritual practice. The emotions that create the most powerful manifestation fields are those that arise from your heart center. Love, gratitude, joy, compassion, and peace. When you can access these frequencies consistently, you become a powerful magnet for experiences that match these elevated states. The practice of emotional alchemy involves 3 steps. First, becoming aware of what you're feeling without judgment. Second, accepting the emotion as information about your current frequency. And third, consciously choosing to shift into a higher frequency emotional state through breath, movement, visualization, or spiritual practice. The quantum mechanics of intention and attention. Your intention sets the direction of your manifestation, but your attention determines its power. Intention without sustained attention remains merely wishful thinking. Attention without clear intention creates scattered results. When you combine crystal clear intention with unwavering attention, you create what quantum physicists call a strange attractor, a point in the field of possibilities that draws circumstances and experiences toward it with magnetic force. The challenge in our modern world is that our attention has been systematically fragmented. We're constantly being pulled in multiple directions by digital distractions, social conditioning, and the collective anxiety of humanity. Reclaiming your attention is one of the most radical acts you can perform in service of your evolution. Mastering attention requires developing what the mystics call one-pointed awareness, the ability to focus your consciousness like a laser beam on what truly matters. This isn't about rigid mental control. It's about training your awareness to naturally gravitate toward the frequencies that serve your highest good. When your attention becomes coherent and focused, you gain access to what ancient traditions call supernatural abilities. The capacity to know things beyond the reach of your physical senses, to influence events at a distance, and to manifest with seemingly miraculous speed and precision. The sacred science of energy transmission and presence. As you evolve in consciousness, you become capable of transmitting frequency through your mere presence. You don't need to say anything or do anything specific. Your elevated consciousness becomes a transmission that affects everyone around you. This is why spending time with awakened beings can catalyze transformation in others. It's not about their words or teachings, though these may be helpful. It's about the frequency they embody and transmit through their presence. Their consciousness creates a field of possibility that makes higher states more accessible to those around them. You have this same capacity for transmission. As you stabilize in elevated frequencies, you become a source of inspiration and transformation for everyone you encounter. Your family members begin to shift. Your work environment starts to change. Even strangers you meet briefly are affected by your presence. This transmission happens automatically when you're authentically embodying higher consciousness. You don't need to try to heal or help anyone. Your aligned presence becomes a gift to the world, simply by existing at that frequency. The importance of energetic boundaries and field protection. As you become more sensitive to subtle energies and more powerful in your manifestation abilities, you must learn to maintain healthy energetic boundaries. Not all frequencies that you encounter will serve your evolution, and learning to discern and protect your energetic field becomes essential. This isn't about fear or separation. It's about conscious stewardship of your consciousness. Just as you wouldn't drink polluted water, you don't need to absorb chaotic or low-frequency energies from your environment. Energetic protection involves several practices. Regularly clearing your field through meditation, breathwork, or energy healing. Surrounding yourself with people who support your evolution. Creating sacred space in your home that holds high-frequency energy. And learning to distinguish between your own emotions and energies you've absorbed from others. When you maintain clear energetic boundaries, you become even more effective as a force for positive change because you're operating from a clean, coherent field rather than a confused or contaminated one. The mystery of synchronicity and meaningful coincidence. As you align with your authentic path, you'll begin to notice an increase in synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem to guide you toward your highest good. These aren't random events. They're evidence that you're flowing with the intelligent organizing principle of the universe. Carl Jung defined synchronicity as meaningful coincidence, but from a quantum perspective, synchronicities are evidence of the non-local connections that exist throughout reality. When you're in alignment with your authentic frequency, you become sensitive to these non-local connections and begin to participate consciously in the web of meaning that connects all things. Learning to recognize and follow synchronicities becomes a form of spiritual navigation. Instead of forcing your way through life with willpower and mental planning, you learn to sense the flow of the universe and move with it. You become like a surfer who reads the waves and rides the energy that's already present rather than fighting against it. The more you trust and follow synchronicities, the more they appear in your life. The universe begins to communicate with you through the language of meaningful coincidence, guiding you toward people, opportunities, and experiences that serve your evolution. Advanced practices for consciousness, expansion, and reality creation. As you deepen in your understanding of consciousness and manifestation, you may feel called to explore more advanced practices that can accelerate your evolution and enhance your creative abilities. Meditation becomes not just a relaxation technique, but a technology for accessing non-ordinary states of consciousness. Through deep meditative states, you can directly experience the field of pure potential that underlies all manifest reality. You can commune with the intelligence that orchestrates the universe and receive guidance that transcends the limitations of your rational mind. Breathwork practices can rapidly shift your consciousness and release stored trauma and limitation from your nervous system. Specific breathing patterns can induce altered states where healing and transformation happen spontaneously. Energy healing modalities allow you to work directly with the subtle energy patterns that shape your physical and emotional experience. As you learn to sense and influence these energy patterns, you gain greater control over your health, emotions, and life circumstances. Plant medicine ceremonies, when approached with proper guidance and intention, can provide direct experiences of expanded consciousness that permanently shift your understanding of reality and your place within it. Movement practices like yoga, qigong, or dance can help you embody higher frequencies in your physical form and integrate spiritual insights into your cellular structure. The key with all advanced practices is approaching them with humility, discernment, and clear intention. They are tools in service of your evolution, not ends in themselves. The goal is always to integrate whatever insights or abilities you gain into your daily life, in service of love and conscious evolution. Once you've clarified your intentions, visualized your desired reality, and aligned your emotions with your vision, trust that the universe is responding. Trust doesn't mean becoming passive or waiting for magic to happen. It means maintaining confidence that forces are orchestrating behind the scenes, even when you can't perceive immediate evidence. Trust allows you to remain patient and receptive to the process, knowing that everything is aligning for your highest expansion. In moments of doubt or frustration, remember that you are always in the process of creation. Every thought, every emotion, and every action is contributing to the reality you're calling forth. When you consistently focus on what you desire, visualize with feeling, and embody the emotions of your fulfilled vision, you activate the law of attraction and begin to draw circumstances and experiences that harmonize with your intentions. If this frequency is touching something deep within you, if these concepts are activating dormant potentials in your consciousness, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this frequency of conscious creation. This isn't about consuming content. It's about joining a community of souls who are actively participating in the evolution of human consciousness. Here's what most people never understand about timing. There are moments when the entire fabric of reality becomes more malleable, when the boundaries between what is and what could be become thin. You're living through one of those moments right now. The quantum field has been reorganizing itself, and those who are sensitive to these shifts can feel it in their bodies. The old timelines are dissolving, and new possibilities are crystallizing into form. You are not randomly encountering these words. You are being called forward by a force that recognizes your readiness to step into a larger version of yourself. The universe has been preparing you for this moment through every experience you've had, every challenge you've faced, and every dream that has been stirring in your heart. But here's where choice becomes everything. You can continue operating from the old programming, the inherited beliefs about limitation and scarcity, or you can make the quantum leap into a new frequency of existence. This isn't about positive thinking or manifesting techniques. This is about recognizing that you are consciousness having a human experience, and consciousness has the power to reshape reality from the inside out. The field is calling for more conscious creators, more beings who understand that transformation begins with internal alignment. Every time you choose expansion over contraction, love over fear, or trust over doubt, you send ripples through the collective consciousness that make it easier for others to make the same choice. Your breakthrough isn't just about you. It's about what becomes possible when you step into your authentic power. It's about the example you become, the frequency you embody, and the permission you give others to do the same. The more people who awaken to their creative potential, the faster this planet transforms. But let's explore what authentic power actually means in this context. Authentic power isn't about dominating others or forcing your will upon the world. It's about aligning so completely with your true nature that your very existence becomes a force for healing and transformation. It's about becoming so clear in your purpose that the universe itself supports your every step. When you step into authentic power, you stop trying to be someone else's version of successful and start expressing your unique gifts in ways that serve the highest good. You stop competing with others and start collaborating with the intelligence of life itself. You become a conduit for something greater than your individual self, while simultaneously becoming more authentically yourself than ever before. This is the paradox of authentic power. The more you surrender your ego's agenda, the more powerful you become. The more you align with the flow of life, the more influence you have. The more you serve something greater than yourself, the more fulfilled and abundant your personal life becomes. The ripple effect of your transformation extends far beyond what your rational mind can comprehend. Every time you choose love over fear, you send that frequency into the collective field. Every time you act from authentic power rather than ego-driven ambition, you strengthen the template for conscious leadership in the morphic field. Every time you trust the process instead of trying to control outcomes, you make it easier for others to trust as well. The evolution of consciousness and planetary transformation. We are living through the most significant transformation in human history. The old paradigm based on separation, competition, and domination is collapsing, while a new paradigm based on unity, collaboration, and conscious co-creation is emerging. Your personal awakening is not separate from this planetary transformation. You are part of the solution that humanity has been waiting for. Your consciousness matters not just for your individual life, but for the future of our species and planet. The challenges we face globally, climate change, inequality, conflict, environmental destruction, cannot be solved from the same level of consciousness that created them. They require a fundamental shift in how we understand ourselves and our relationship to life. They require humans who have awakened to their true nature as conscious creators. This is why your spiritual evolution is actually a form of activism. By healing yourself, you're helping to heal the world. By embodying higher consciousness, you're anchoring new possibilities for humanity. By demonstrating what's possible when someone aligns with their authentic power, you're showing others the way forward. The future is not predetermined. It's being created moment by moment through the collective choices of beings like you who are willing to take responsibility for their consciousness and step into their power as co-creators of reality. The technology of heart-brain coherence and embodied wisdom. Recent research in neurocardiology has revealed that your heart contains its own neural network, a heart brain that processes information independently from your cranial brain. This heart brain is capable of learning, remembering, and making decisions, and it communicates constantly with your head brain through various pathways. When your heart and brain are in coherent communication, when your thoughts align with your deepest knowing, you gain access to a form of intelligence that transcends rational thinking. This is embodied wisdom, a way of knowing that integrates mental understanding with emotional intelligence and somatic awareness. Developing heart-brain coherence isn't just beneficial for your health and well-being. It's essential for accessing your highest creative potential. When you're in coherent states, you become more intuitive, more creative, more compassionate, and more effective in manifesting your visions. The practice of heart-brain coherence involves learning to breathe from your heart center, focusing your attention on feelings of appreciation or love, and allowing your heart rhythm to become smooth and coherent. As you develop this capacity, you'll find that solutions to problems arise spontaneously, that you make better decisions with less mental effort, and that you feel more connected to the intelligence of life itself. This coherent state is also highly contagious. When you're in heart-brain coherence, you broadcast a field of coherence that others can entrain to. This is one of the ways that your personal transformation contributes to collective healing, the art of conscious relationship and sacred community. As you evolve in consciousness, your relationships naturally transform. You begin to attract people who are also committed to growth and awakening. You start to see every relationship as an opportunity for mutual evolution and service. Conscious relationship is about showing up authentically and supporting each other's highest expression. It's about communicating from truth rather than playing games or manipulating for personal advantage. It's about loving each other's souls rather than just personalities. In conscious relationships, conflict becomes an opportunity for deeper understanding rather than a threat to be avoided. Differences become sources of learning rather than reasons for separation. Growth becomes a shared adventure rather than an individual pursuit. Sacred community emerges when groups of conscious individuals come together in service of something greater than themselves. These communities become fields of accelerated evolution, where each person's growth supports everyone else's awakening. The importance of creating and participating in sacred community cannot be overstated. The path of conscious evolution can feel lonely when you're surrounded by people who are still operating from old paradigm thinking. Sacred community provides the support, inspiration, and accountability needed to sustain your growth and continue expanding into your highest potential. The mystery of divine masculine and feminine integration. Within every human being, regardless of biological gender, exist both masculine and feminine creative principles. The sacred masculine represents the qualities of focused intention, clear direction, protection, and conscious action. The sacred feminine represents the qualities of receptive wisdom, intuitive knowing, nurturing presence, and creative flow. For most of human history, these principles have been out of balance, with one being elevated above the other or both being distorted into unhealthy expressions. The new paradigm requires the integration and balance of both masculine and feminine principles within individuals and collective structures. When you integrate the sacred masculine and feminine within yourself, you become capable of both visionary leadership and compassionate service, both clear boundaries and open-hearted love, both decisive action and patient receptivity. You embody the full spectrum of human potential. This integration isn't just personal. It's essential for creating healthy relationships, sustainable organizations, and conscious cultures. The future belongs to those who can embody both strength and sensitivity, both power and love, both clarity and compassion. The sacred masculine and feminine also represent different approaches to manifestation. The masculine approach involves setting clear intentions, making detailed plans, and taking focused action. The feminine approach involves trusting the process, remaining open to unexpected opportunities, and allowing manifestations to emerge organically. Mastery of conscious creation requires learning to dance between these approaches, knowing when to take assertive action and when to surrender into flow, when to focus your will and when to trust the wisdom of the universe. The quantum field dynamics of collective transformation. Your individual transformation doesn't happen in isolation. You're part of a larger field of consciousness that is rapidly evolving. Understanding the dynamics of this collective transformation can help you navigate your personal journey with greater wisdom and effectiveness. We are currently experiencing what systems theorists call a phase transition, a fundamental reorganization of the entire system. During phase transitions, the old order breaks down while the new order hasn't yet stabilized. This creates a period of chaos and uncertainty that can feel overwhelming if you don't understand what's happening. During these transitions, small changes can have enormous effects. A single individual operating from higher consciousness can influence an entire system. This is why your personal transformation is so important. You might be the catalyst that tips your family, community, or organization into a new level of functioning. The key to navigating phase transitions is learning to find stability within yourself, rather than seeking it in external circumstances. The more anchored you are in your own center, the more you can contribute to the collective stabilization into higher order consciousness. You are living through the most exciting time in human history. You have the opportunity to participate consciously in humanity's graduation into a more evolved species. The choices you make, the consciousness you embody, and the love you express all contribute to determining what kind of future we create together. This is your invitation to step fully into your role as a conscious participant in this grand transformation. The world needs your unique gifts, your authentic expression, and your commitment to embodying the highest possibilities for human existence. As we complete this journey together, take a moment to connect with the part of you that knows, beyond any doubt, that your time is now. Feel that knowing in your body. Let it anchor into your nervous system. This isn't hope or wishful thinking. This is recognition of what has always been true. Drop one word in the comments that captures the transformation you're choosing to embody. This is your energetic signature to the quantum field, your declaration of what you're calling forth. Whether it's abundance, courage, love, freedom, or any word that resonates with your soul, let that word represent your commitment to this new frequency. Consider watching this video each morning for the next week to anchor these frequencies deeper into your consciousness. When you share this message with someone who's ready for this level of understanding, you're not just spreading information. You're creating an energetic ripple effect that accelerates both your own manifestation abilities and helps activate their dormant potentials. Each share strengthens the morphic field of conscious creation. Subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent with this expanding community of conscious creators. The more of us who embody this frequency of conscious manifestation, the more the world reflects that truth. You are not behind. You are not late. You are perfectly positioned for everything that wants to emerge through you. The timeline has shifted, and you are exactly where you need to be. Trust the process, embrace the mystery, and step boldly into the reality that's been waiting for your arrival. Your moment is now. Your breakthrough is here. And the universe is celebrating your willingness to finally say yes to everything you came here to become. The deeper you go into conscious creation, the more you'll discover that manifestation is just the beginning. Once you're operating from this elevated frequency, you'll be ready to understand why quantum manifestation feels effortless for some, yet remains elusive for others. It's not about trying harder. It's about understanding the precise mechanics that make it inevitable. The principles we've explored today create the foundation for that quantum leap.